Opened up, it's a little after 12. Make breakfast for myself, leave the work for someone else. People say, they say that it's just a phase. They tell me to act my age. Well, I am on this perfect day. Nothing's standing in my way.
Finger, give me that.
Can't go wrong.
Wow, a sequel to Legally Blonde? If it's anything like the first movie, then this should be amazing. Legally Blonde is the greatest chick flick ever. It's about a perky blonde sorority queen who, after getting dumped by her boyfriend on account of her parents' lack of seriousness, decides to follow him to Harvard in order to win him back. Sure, the premise sounds a little cheesy, but the movie is actually super fun. The comedy is a healthy mix of wacky, fish-out-of-water shenanigans with clever satire about class and gender roles. The story is filled with a lot of heart, as it delivers a sincere message about working hard while remaining passionate about what you believe in and never losing faith. And all of the characters are memorable, fleshed out and interesting to watch every time they're on screen. Especially our fuchsia-clad heroine, Elle Woods, with her awesome combination of preppy valley girl femininity and book-smart legal savvy. I mean, she wins her first trial thanks to both basic deductive reasoning and her knowledge of fashion. What's not to love about that? All in all, Legally Blonde is just one of those movies that's better than it needs to be, and it remains a strong cinematic manifesto of girl power to this very day. And like I said before, any sequel to such an awesome film has to be good, right? This is Poindexta, and this is Legally Blonde 2. As the film begins, we're treated to a bittersweet reminder of a much better movie as we get a brief recap of the life and times of Elle Woods.
Oh, look at that. Her first day at Harvard. Unbelievable. Awesome. The bend and snap!
Wait, who took those pictures? I've seen Legally Blonde enough times to know that nobody was holding a camera in any of those scenes. Either someone on campus was a total creeper with a Hitchcock-esque obsession with blondes, or the people making a sequel were so cheap and lazy they thought that adding screenshots to a scrapbook while telling us shit we already knew counted as world building. We see Elle being thrown a surprise bridal shower to celebrate her impending nuptials with Emmett, and yet despite being both a bastion of popularity among her Delta News sisters, only 3 people show up at her party.
Oh my god, Margot, Serena, I cannot believe you guys flew all the way here.
And yet Vivian couldn't be bothered to so much as send a congratulations card, despite us being BFFs at the end of the last movie. Isn't continuity fabulous? My guess is that Selma Blair took one look at that script and set that hunk of junk on fire, just like in Hellboy. If I had that kind of power, that's what I'd do to this movie. Anyway, we discover that Elle's been doing pretty well with her life nowadays. She's a successful lawyer with a job at a prestigious firm, and of course, she's 3 months away from getting married to the love of her life. But there's just one small hitch.
I want everybody who matters to us to be there. Oh my god, I almost forgot.
You want me to what?
A biological birth parent search.
For your dog.
What?
I'm the highest paid, most sought after private investigator in the greater Boston area. You want to send an invitation to your wedding to your dog's mother.
She's... What? I don't know what part of that scene offends me more. The fact that Elle Woods, a grown woman, just asked a private detective to search for her dog's mother because she wants to invite her to her wedding? Or that she's grey suit with pink rhinestone pinstripes in spring. And isn't it the cardinal rule of spring wear that bright pink should never be used as a mere secondary colour, especially not to a colour as dull as grey? Clearly Elle has lost her mind in more ways than one. The detective manages to track down Bruce's mother and... Why does the dog have a glamour shot? Oh, for the last time, Athena, I can't afford to buy you a photo shoot at the moment. I already used up my last allowance paper therapy sessions after that incident over Halloween. Hey, I told you that book was evil and you didn't believe me. So, just get to the bag. Aw, you like my own little status symbol. You're an owl. You're a symbol of how smart I am. Now shush. Elle is happy at first because it seems that Bruce's mother lives at a Versace office, but it turns out to be something way less pretty.
Oh my god. Open this door immediately.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
You have my dog's mom in there, and I need her to come out right now.
Absolutely not. I'm not authorized to release any subjects from their containment units. They're the legal property of this facility.
And what kind of facility is this?
As far as I'm concerned, it's not a real evil animal testing laboratory, unless I hear Joaquin Phoenix delivering a fear-mongering speech about how all humans are evil and slaughterhouses are totally the modern equivalent to Nazi concentration camps. It'd be interesting to see how many people get that reference. Elle is upset over all the poor little puppy dogs being held hostage and decides to take action. And after finding out her law firm represents the corporation that owns the facility, she attempts to discuss this very important issue with her partners in the most intelligent way possible. No doubt the following scene will be a fantastic demonstration of how far Elle Woods has come since the previous movie. You have to remember, after all, that in spite of her girly demeanour, she is a Harvard graduate and she got a 179 on her LSATs. Yep, I'm sure this scene will be an honest reflection of such a nuanced character and won't damage several years of personal growth whatsoever.
Presenting Bruiser Woods, Chihuahua. Who am I? Where do I come from? Abandoned at birth, I was on my own at an early age. Fighting for survival. Turning tricks at Hollywood and Vine.
Oh no.
Yet even when I found a loving mother, I couldn't shake this nagging emptiness in my heart. It was like a void. When I looked in the mirror, who was it that was looking back at me?
Who are you and what have you done with the real Elle?
It's a law firm, not an animal rights advocacy group.
We're lawyers. We have to fight for justice. And this is definitely unjust.
How old are you, 5? What makes you think that this big, powerful law firm is going to take you even the slightest bit seriously after you construct such a tacky, unprofessional embarrassment of a presentation that's less Microsoft PowerPoint and more Grumpy Cat Saves Christmas? If Grumpy Cat was actually a dog, but that's not the point.
You're fired, Elle.
What?
We only have room for serious lawyers here.
Okay, people, hands up. Who's surprised by this sudden turn of events? Anyone? Anyone at all? Exactly. Elle Woods, I could be mad at you for your wanton stupidity, but right now, all I can think about is how those brainless Hollywood scriptwriters let all your character development go to waste just so that this lazy, contrived excuse of a plot could be justified. Except, it wasn't. Now that, my friends, is the literal definition of unjust. And while we're still on the subject of once decent characters being utterly ruined in a sequel, Emmett does absolutely nothing. I'm not saying that to be negative, I mean it literally. Emmett does nothing. Sure, in the first movie he was a relatively minor supporting character, and his budding relationship with Elle was downplayed a lot, but in the second movie, his personality has been stripped away and replaced with nothing but brain-dead devotion towards Elle in literally anything she does.
You know what I thought the first time I saw you?
God, that woman wears a lot of pink.
That woman is really special. She believes she can make a difference, and she will.
Oh sure, it may seem cute at first, but he acts like this for the entire film. You could replace him with a plastic doll where you pull the string and he says, "I love you, fiancé," and no one watching would give a hoot. And that's not even the most depressing part of this movie.
You can't do a scallop trim on the outer hoop skirt. The material's too delicate, it'll just fall apart.
No, Biggie, I guess I don't need a scallop trim on the outer hoop skirt. If the law is what's keeping Bruiser's mother locked up, I shouldn't be fighting it, I should be changing it. Everybody, I'm gonna make animal testing for cosmetics illegal.
Hold on, stop right there. Miss Woods, where do I begin? 1. Elle is supposed to be a smart young lady, very smart, and while I can just barely forgive her for getting herself fired from an amazing job all because she wanted to invite her dog's mother to her wedding, her precocious determination to follow this particular dream of hers no matter the obstacles only makes her come across as an oblivious ditz due to her plan's utter ridiculousness. 2. Animal testing has been a subject of ongoing debate for decades now, and even if all the cute little doggies were set free, it still raises even more ethical questions. Namely, whether the alternative of testing potentially dangerous products on humans would in fact be a whole lot worse. This is a tricky subject matter filled with too many moral grey areas to be easily solved overnight, not even by someone as resolute as Elle. And 3. Even if Elle does succeed in freeing Bruiser's mother, the poor old bitch has probably spent years in captivity and might not be able to cope with the outside world, and nobody wants their wedding ceremony ruined by a tiny traumatised chihuahua pissing on someone's lap. Elle Woods, your plan defies all logic, realism and common sense, and I can't believe that someone like you would act so crazy. Moving on. Elle decides to head off to Washington as part of her daring mission to make animal testing in cosmetics illegal. But before she can get any work done, there's still one important task that she must solve. What dress to wear?
Too Nancy. Too Hillary.
To Hillary. That's not an uncomfortable reference nowadays at all. Oh, never mind. At least Elle's chosen outfit for her first day at work reeks of a different kind of political awkwardness.
Hello, Patriots! I don't think I've been this excited since Gucci became a publicly traded company.
Oh my god, it's Capital Barbie.
Jackie Kennedy? Oh, she was such a style icon, and that famous dress of hers was so fabulous and pink. She saw her husband's skull get blown to smithereens in that dress. Elle joins the staff of Congresswoman Rudd, played by Sally Field, and it seems that she's getting off to an uncomfortable start. But at least this means we'll get some delightful fish-out-of-water hilarity, as if we didn't already see any of that in the first movie.
See, this is us. He had this made for me. That's him, and that's me smiling.
Maybe he'll make one of you and me. You'll be talking and I'll be throwing up.
Ha ha! Elle's an itsy blonde who loves pink and everybody else is all serious and stuck up. And it's funny because she doesn't know that everyone thinks she's dumb. Except that she kinda does, but it's never really made clear this time round whether she's trying to be optimistic against the odds. So she just comes across as legitimately stupid. Just like the writers of this movie.
As our newest legislative assistant will soon be spearheading a campaign under your committee, I'm sure she'd love the floor. Thus, I yield to my colleague, the lady in hot pink.
You have the floor, lady in hot pink.
Actually, it's really more of a carnation pink, but whatever.
My name is Elle Woods, and as my surname would suggest, I am a passionate advocate for everything in nature. My short-haired chihuahua, Bruiser, brought me face-to-face with the animal testing issue.
You're out of order, Ms. Woods.
She's out of order! You're out of order! This whole movie's out of order! I couldn't resist. So it looks as though Elle has already made an enemy in Vivian 2.0, aka Grace, played by Regina King, whose constant frustration at everyone around her, while clearly thinking to herself how she can do better than this, is probably reflective of the actress's own feelings while shooting this crap. I wonder if any other normally talented actors will reluctantly sharpen this movie in dire need of a paycheck.
Elle Woods, legislative aide to Congresswoman Rudd, Massachusetts.
Sid Post. Dorman.
Bob Newhart? Why, man, why? Poor man, he looks depressed. depressed in every scene that he's in. And I don't blame him. His character, Sid, is supposed to be the doorman of the hotel that Elle is staying at while in DC, and yet he's suspiciously savvy about all the members of Congress and how politics works, and apparently has all the time in the world and kindness in his slowly decaying heart to help Elle out. There's no explanation for any of this. He's just smart and nice, I guess.
Full sizzle, my ezzle.
The old man said Izzle. Seriously, Bob Newhart, why are you in this movie? Anywho, it's time to rehash one of many iconic moments from the first movie, a badass working montage for Elle Woods. Except that this montage happens too early in the story, so nothing really feels at stake. Well, unless you count Elle's increasingly butchered characterization, but that's basically a moot point.
Perhaps you could look at my alternative testing economics incentive chart. Let's pop up.
Hey, I got a pop-up chart of my own just for you. Also, Grace is needlessly bitchy towards Elle for no real reason. I think the sequel's trying to repeat the rivalry with Vivian from the last movie, except that back then, Elle and Vivian had a reason to hate each other at first because they were both competing for Warner's affections. But with Grace, it's just like, politics is hard work meant for tough people, and you're too happy so I don't like you. And the fact that the token black woman in this film also happens to be the antagonist makes things even ickier. The whole point of Legally Blonde was that women should be themselves so they can move forwards, not backwards. Way to practice what you preach, franchise.
Congresswoman Libby Hauser.
118 salons within a 10-mile radius.
It's just as you suspected. She's at a moderate conservative salon.
Aw, Paulette's daughter is wearing a UPS uniform, just like her father. Wait! How long does this movie take place after the previous one? Elle Woods was supposed to have graduated Harvard in 2004, and Paulette and UPS guy were expecting their first child around the same time. This movie came out in 2003, yet is presumably set many years later, hence why Paulette's child has aged up considerably. And I guess Elle and Emmett taking their time before they can get married also makes sense, but they celebrate her engagement at the beginning of the film like it just happened. What is up with the goddamn continuity? Did everybody stumble into a black hole in between films? Space is warped and time is bendable, and Legally Blonde 2 is an all-consuming paradoxical fail! Elle tracks down Congresswoman Hauser at a hair salon, hoping to convince her to support her animal rights bill, but she proves to be a tough nut to crack.
Makes it so much easier to talk that way.
They have rules about that here.
Oh, I know. That's why I called to make sure they use PETA-approved hair care products.
PETA-approved hair products? Let me guess, they replace your shower water with animal blood if you try switching to L'Oreal? Fortunately, Elle manages to win over Hauser in no time, not through legal know-how or a smart, convincing speech, but... Oh my god, she's a member of the Illuminati!
When was the last time you wore your yellow tea rose?
On the night of my initiation.
Delta who? Delta Nu! Delta, Delta, Boogaloo!
They both went to Delta Nu? What an adorable little coincidence! Elle didn't need to work hard to achieve that little goal at all, because girliness won in the end. Yay!
Theta, Lambda, Mu! Ooh, ah! Delta! Nu!
Bend and snap this saint. Later, Elle bumps into a random guy at the park and their dogs instantly become the best of friends. The very best of friends. That was weird and pointless and incredibly awkward. I'm sure this is leading up towards something, but whatever it is, I'm sure the punchline to this random moment of randomness will be totally relevant to the whole story and in very good taste.
Hey, said it was urgent! Please tell me he's okay.
What's wrong with Leslie? Your Rottweiler has been humping your little dog, and vice versa. Your dogs are gay.
don't understand. Let me explain it to you. See, they're dogs and they're gay. And that's funny because I don't know. I mean, this sequel's clearly aimed at only the lowest common denominator, but it's doing it so well, and the quality is plummeting at such a fast rate that you gotta hand it to them. You really do. I mean, after all, who needs witty comedy, thoughtful characterization, and strong feminist undertones when you can have gay dogs and the chihuahuas wearing a leather vest? Oh, that's hilarious. No! It's not funny! It's ridiculous, weak, and ever so slightly offensive. A little bit like the following plot twist right here.
Stanford Marks, by the way. You can call me Stan.
Oh, Elle Woods. Very nice to meet you. Wait. Congressman Stanford Marks?
Mm-hmm.
As in the Southern Conservative NRA spokesman, Alabama Republican Stanford Marks?
One and the same.
You mean the other dog's owner just so happens to be the congressman Elle needs in order to get her bill going? Who'd have fucking thought? Again, no need for Elle to do any actual work. She won that battle through the power of love. Homosexual, canine love. But seriously, ever noticed how Elle seems to be scoring these powerful political powerhouses through either wacky contrivances or them being personally related to her in some way, rather than her, you know, actually doing any shit? In the first movie, Elle had to work hard to be taken seriously, especially after realising that Warner was never going to give her the time of day, so she needed to get tough and concentrate on being the best that she could be in order to stand up for herself while doing the right thing. This Elle Woods, on the other hand, is the bastard combination of Malibu Stacy and a 12-year-old's Mary Sue on fanfiction.net. She faces no real obstacles in her path, she wins over all the right people just by being super duper nice to them, and all the people who hate her are portrayed as cold and mean, because how could you not love Elle Woods? She's so sweet and independent. Don't they know that there's so much more to her than being blonde? Actually, that's the sort of question the people who wrote this script should be asking themselves. Don't they know that there's so much more to Elle Woods than just her being a goddamn blonde? Legally Blonde was a title, not a manifesto, but the money-hungry shitlords who wrote this crap took it literally, and they turned her into... How did that one guy from earlier put it?
Oh my god, it's Capital Barbie.
Exactly! Elle Woods has been turned into a plastic, faux political Barbie doll with no real substance or depth. Hey, movie, here's a clip from the better Legally Blonde film to sum up what I think about you.
I object.
So in spite of all the odds, or lack thereof, Elle manages to secure her hearing at the House of Representatives and has even got her bill prepared all in pink, obviously. But once Congress begins, reality starts to rear its ugly head.
These supposed alternatives to animal testing aren't alternatives at all.
Recently, I saw an item in a pet store with the label, "This product is tested on human."
Now that's a problem worth discussing.
While the bleeding hearts will try to distract us from the facts with their saccharine talk of wagging tails, consider this. Where we see softness of heart, we often see softness of mind.
Oh no, I don't believe it. Politics is mean and scary. The Sid manages to tip Elle off with a list of all the dog owners in Congress, and the following day's hearing goes a lot better. And by better, I mean with an extra added dose of cringe.
Representative Croft, that lip gloss looks absolutely sensational on you.
I'm sorry, what?
If I told you, Representative Croft, that you owe that special bounce in your step, the one that only comes from finding the perfect lipstick, to him, how many times has he acted on my behalf? Countless.
When? He's a dog! Come on!
Are you willing to sacrifice animal welfare? Or how about just say the welfare of one animal? Like Jelly, your childhood pal? That striking retriever black lab mix?
Aw, puppy!
Oh, to hell with it. My Rottweiler Les is of the homosexual orientation. My dog is gay. And guess what? I couldn't be prouder of the little flamer.
He just outed his dog. That was a thing that happened in this movie. manages to win everybody over, thanks to Hollywood's liberalism so preachy Sean Penn would cough up blood, and they're just about to accept Bruce's bill when Rudd suddenly arrives to announce her withdrawal support.
You were outmaneuvered by Grace. She's been pushing this homeowners' incentives bill.
That's not what people want.
Of the people, by the people, for the people.
Oh, look at how cheap that symbolism is. The only thing that could possibly top this little moment of patriotic preachiness would be if Elle Woods walked up to the statue of Abe Lincoln and started waxing lyrical about how inspirational he was. Oh, come on, are you fucking kidding me?
I just don't know how you did it. I don't even mean wearing that silly hat because, I mean, that was really brave.
Why don't you just shut up about fashion? But what's this? The other staff members have quit working for Grace and shut to support Elle instead? Oh, how heartwarming. I'd question their seeming lack of motivation into doing so, but look at all the nice things they've written about Elle.
Elle Woods inspires us.
She inspires us to have two-dimensional personalities one day, just like her. Ha! Elle predictably decides not to give up, and everyone bands together to file a discharge petition.
Congress adjourns in 3 weeks. We can't do this alone.
That's why I'm calling in reinforcements.
Al, I hope we're talking to a couple of the brightest political minds in the country.
We're here!
Where is Vivian? And the rest of the lawyers? Did Elle keep in touch with no one after graduation? Why them? Why? Why are they still in the movie? Why is this movie still going? Ah!
Who's ready to discharge? And proposition their bill and whatever.
And that was a really bad joke you just made. Now shut up! So like any good bad comedy sequel, we get a wacky montage of dumb bullshit only there to pad out the movie some more instead of actually furthering the plot. From crazy haircuts to interns doing a cheerleader routine. Bow wow wow yippee yo yippee yay. Bow wow yippee yo yippee yay. Bow wow wow yippee yo yippee yay. Bow wow yippee yo yippee yay. Do the dog, do the dog, 2, 4, 6, 8, sign the petition, win a date. Go, Brucersville, go! Someone call security! But it turns out that Rudd has been secretly working against Elle all this time in fear of losing sponsors and pinned everything on Grace to throw her off her scent.
Don't worry, Bob. I'll get her. And her little dog, too.
Ha! Ha! Rudd calls Elle in to let her know that the cosmetics company from the beginning of the film is releasing all their test animals, including Bruce's mother, and they want to make her the head of their legal department.
You did it. You did what you came here to do.
But what about the discharge petition? I mean, this isn't about just one animal, it's about all of the animals.
You've got a great team in place. They can carry on without you. Same Magnifique wants you up there by Monday.
It's a trap!
However, Elle manages to confront Grace while on her way out, and she discovers the truth about Rudd.
You blocked this bill, nobody else, and I want to know why.
You have no idea what it takes to get here, to stay here. The money it takes, the people believe what we tell them to believe. It'll never work, Elle. You can't get the people to care.
Watch me.
I miss the first movie. I miss the old Elle. I miss when her underdog story was badass and it meant something and it wasn't this lazy generic plot about sticking it up to evil people who don't believe in you. Oh my god, this sequel, it's just so blonde. Speaking of blonde, Elle manages to get everyone in Delta Nu to take her bill to the masses. And remember how in the first film, Delta Nu was just a normal sorority house? Well here, it's apparently a pink-washed Mensa for only the brightest heads. The brightest, shiniest heads thanks to the latest hairstyle from fucking Cosmo. But hey, girl power, am I right?
Help me out! Telegram! Save Bruce's mom! Save Bruce's mom! Oh, I like your necklace.
Wow, so many ladies are here in Washington. All this needs now is Taylor Swift and Lena Dunham, and you've got yourself a white feminist jamboree. By the way, check out the movie's kinda appropriate yet totally disrespectful choice of soundtrack. John Lennon is rolling in his grave right now. And so is Stephen Stills, or at least he would be if he were actually dead. Emmett also shows up to surprise Elle and tells her that he's decided to have their wedding in DC because her work is more important. Because of course it is. After all, there's no conflict whatsoever in the relationship where one half is a bloody android.
Look, I don't care where I marry, just as long as I do. I do.
See, he's malfunctioning. Somebody give him a kick. And then Grace has a change of heart and decides to help Elle out at the 11th hour by allowing her to deliver a speech at Congress while live on television.
Once upon a time, I loved politics, and I want to do some good. Those silly girls that I told you about with the blisters on their feet, I was one of them.
I'm giving you a chance because you were lucky enough to be born with the white privilege that I never had. You go, girl. Elle manages to crash Congress while they're in the middle of a meeting on National Education Day by making a speech on something completely unrelated to education. Because she's such a special little snowflake, apparently.
I'm here to speak to you today about a piece of legislation called Bruiser's Bill. This is about a matter that should be of the highest importance to every American. My hair.
Ordinarily, I'd say you should stand up for what you believe in, but you've been doing that an awful lot lately.
You see, there's a salon in Beverly Hills. The colorist gave me Brassy Brigitte instead of Harlow Honey. The shampoo girl washed my hair with Spiral Perm Solution instead of color-intensive moisturizing conditioning shampoo.
Ugh. Movie. We know what's coming next. A seemingly irrelevant tangent's going to lead into the topic at hand. It's an obvious joke that's about as paper-thin as her characterization. How low do you think my IQ is exactly?
I had sat there and witnessed this injustice, and I just let it happen. But now I know better. I know that one honest voice can be louder than a crowd.
Yeah, use your voice, always believe in yourself, yada yada yada. Of course she wins! So Bruiser's Bill gets passed, the test animals are all released, the UPS guy from the first movie shows up for no reason, Elle and Emmett get married, Bruiser's mum is there at the wedding, and we finish this pointless 90-minute detour with the most tacked-on sequel bait since Azuna's cameo in The Last Airbender.
Now that we're married, where do you want to live? Beverly Hills, Boston, Washington?
Oh, I think I know just the place.
Yeah?
A woman in the White House? Ah, that'll never happen. Not in a million years. That was Legally Blonde 2, and that was just insipid. There is literally no reason for this movie to exist, and no excuse for this milky toast monstrosity could possibly hold up in court. The story is maddeningly stupid. The film's pacing somehow manages to be too fast and too tedious at the same time, and all of the characters, both old and new, have about as much depth as 10-second stick figures. Subtle feminist message of the first movie has been gruesomely replaced with a dumb, over-the-top animal rights PSA as a lazy attempt to give this woeful excuse of a follow-up some sort of heart or gravitas. But let's be honest, heart and gravitas flew out the window the moment the gay dogs showed up. Legally Blonde 2 is lazy, ludicrous, and lacking in both bend and snap. To quote another bad movie sequel,
It just raises too many questions.
also, there is literally no way Elle should have won at the end of this movie. Real life doesn't work like that. I mean, this film portrays the US government as being so easily swayed, they're willing to let a dumb blonde be in charge of everything. Then again, if Elle Woods won't give up, then neither should you. This is Poindexta, and this is the end of the review.